Leadership isn't just about title or positions. It's about breaking barriers. It's about embracing transformation and creating a legacy that lasts. It's about how do you lead with heart and passion. I'm Dr. Shernette Grant, but you can call me Dr. G. I help bold, visionary leaders turn challenges into powerful, everyday opportunities for growth. Are you ready to lead differently? Watch this episode now and be sure to subscribe and share Leadership Plus with Dr. G, available on all of your favorite streaming platforms. Let's lead differently and thrive together. What's up, everybody? This is Dr. Shernette Grant, and you are listening to Leadership Plus with Dr. G. This is the podcast where we keep it real about what it takes to lead, grow, and inspire others to be their absolute best. And I am so delighted that I get to be your host. Thank you for joining me. And please, I would be remiss if I did not remind you to go back and check out all of the previous episodes. Did you catch Miss Winsome Brown on the last one? Lean on D. Go check it out. So today I want to talk to a group of leaders that I think many of us find ourselves in this situation at some point in time in our leadership. The leader who is running the organization, but is also the bookkeeper, the development chief, the HR department, the event planner, the therapist, the tech support, and even the janitor sometimes. The last to leave the building, make sure the lights are out and the doors are closed. Have you ever been there? Or are you currently sitting there? The leader who does everything. Now, I know you have probably sat back and thought to yourself, this is not sustainable. This cannot work like this. And I'm here to tell you that you're right. It's not sustainable. And you cannot continue to function like this. And you are, at the sound of my voice, I know some of you are sitting, yep, that's me. That's me. You are that one who is holding it all together. And usually it's in the small or growing, under-resourced organizations where the mission is huge, but the support, not so much. It's in the small entrepreneurial venture you're doing and you just can't make it all come together with staff, right? So today we're going to dive into this idea and talk about the leader who's just wearing all of the hats and how, the cycle you sort of end up in and what it's going to take for you to shift from constantly doing to actually leading. There's a big difference. Doing, leading, two different things. So if you are feeling stretched, if you're feeling overwhelmed, you've been there, or like the real leadership work just keeps getting pushed to the side, this episode is for you. It's for you. So I want you to go ahead and grab your coffee, grab your tea, or whatever fuels your greatness, because you and I both know it's 5 o'clock somewhere, and let's chat for a few minutes. All right? Now, in an ideal world, you're the leader, you're very, very happy, you're fully staffed, you've got a full team, dedicated finance team or finance person, a comms team, you've maybe got somebody handling HR, you've got a development chief, you've got all the C-suite titles that we can think of, right? But in your world, it's just you and maybe one or two ride or die team members who are trying to keep it together and to keep it afloat for the organization and for the team. You're the one who's writing the grants. You're planning the fundraiser. You're responding to the emails. You're updating the website. You're trying to mediate internal conflicts. And you are supposed to also be making time to dream big. I'm sure you are sitting there going, no, what time to dream big? That dreaming part rarely happens. Let's just be honest. It rarely happens because you cannot find time to get it done. The truth is, you are stretched too thin. Your leadership is constantly getting hijacked by the logistics and the day-to-day, and you don't really have time to lead. You simply don't. Now you're just making decisions just to get through the day. Instead of really planning for the future, instead of really strategizing, instead of really thinking big, your team also will stop bringing you ideas because guess what? They can see, I want you to not be fooled. They can see how overwhelmed you are, and they can see that the creative energy that you once had that fueled your mission in the work you're doing right now is gone because it's now replaced by checklists and fires that you are constantly putting out. But you know what's wild? Because a lot of time, this kind of overfunctioning is often celebrated. People will say to you, they'll say things like, wow, you're amazing. You're doing so much. Oh, you are just bearing the brunt of that organization on your back alone. But let's be real. That's so much that they're talking about. You know that's low-key killing you. You know you go home at nights and can't sleep. You know you're up at 2, 3 a.m. in the morning stressing and worrying about the work. This is not just about being tired though. This is really about thinking about what you are giving up when you're operating in that mode, what you are truly, truly, truly giving up. Because when your brain is in constant execution mode, just trying to think how to get out of this particular situation, put out the fire for the day, you are not strategizing. You don't have time to think big. You don't have time to think futuristic. You don't have time to innovate. And you're definitely not building any systems that will help you grow. That's a fact. And I know you know that. In addition to that, it is impossible. You cannot pour into your team if your cup is always running dry. You are running on empty. You cannot scale your mission if you're constantly chasing around receipts and trying to figure out MailChimp at night so you can get the mailer out the next day. It's just not going to happen. If you are listening right now, I want you to know burnout is not a leadership badge. Don't wear that as a badge of honor. It's a warning sign. Burnout is a warning sign for you to stop and take stock. And it shows up, by the way, most, like I said, in the people and the places that are doing the most important community-based, people-first work. I hate to say that's where it shows up. The grassroots organization, the neighborhood schools, the frontline nonprofits, the government agencies that are working understaffed, the ones who are filling in the gaps where the systems have failed. You know this. You know you're doing good work. You know the work you're doing is important, but you don't have the resources to get it done, or you have chosen to take on the entire task of getting the work done by yourself. Caution, red flag. This kind of stuff is not there for me. I always talk about theory versus action when it comes to leadership. You got to be able to translate it. This is not there for me. I have been that leader wearing too many hats. So if you think that I'm judging you, I'm not judging you because I've been there. I've been there. I felt the pressure of keeping the wheels turning while also trying to move the mission forward. Been there, done that. I've been in those moments where the need is so great and the team is so stretched so thin that I find myself doing the work and trying to lead the work all at the same time. When I tell you that's a recipe for disaster, that's a recipe for burnout, that's a recipe for ineffectiveness, I want you to hear me. Been there, done that. I was hiring staff, working with the community, reviewing contracts, troubleshooting tech issues, mentoring the team, trying to make strategic decisions all at the same time. Now tell me, where do you find time to make strategic decisions between all of that, all of the Zoom calls, all the meetings, all the email fires, and still trying to get out in the community to make sure that your stakeholders understand that you are here to serve and you want them to be a part of the work? Where do you find time to do all that? Eventually, I had to make some adjustments. I had to understand that I did not have neither the time nor the capacity, and I had to step back and see what was really going on, because when I tell you the fires were deep, the flames, the building was going up in flame. You have to know when to stop, and that's what I did and brought in help. I hired someone to assess where we were and it doesn't have to be in every area of the organization. You have to think about what areas you can pull in people to help you with, right? So in my situation, I had to do that. I couldn't keep flying blind. I had to help bring somebody who had the expertise. That outside perspective, by the way, can make a huge difference. It can help you map out the gaps. It can help you clarify where you want it to go. It can help you build a plan to get there. And it can absolutely help to keep you accountable, make sure it happens. And with all of that, let me tell you something. That did not make me less capable. That helped me lead with clarity, helped me lead more clearly. And here's the thing. That support didn't require a full-time hire because I was dealing with resource shortage as well. But it was a strategic investment. A fraction of the cost with exponential return is what that brought me. And sometimes bringing in a short-term thought partner is exactly what you need to regain control and regain clarity. Just think about it. Sometimes that's what you need. But we keep falling into this cycle over and over again. It's a trap. It's a trap. But why do you think we keep falling into this trap? Why do you think this happens so very often? Because it's happening every day. And as I meet and talk to leaders, especially like I said, in these spaces, small, mid-sized organizations, growing organizations, nonprofit spaces, the story is the same. A lot of time it comes down to resources. You simply don't have the budget to hire more staff. You simply don't. And you're out here trying to make miracles happen with what you've got. And I tell you, I applaud some of you. I applaud many of you because you are certainly making miracles happen. But again, it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. So while it is working in the now, you have to think beyond the now. Then there's this little thing called overfunctioning, right? People keep telling you how amazing you are for all the work you're doing. And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way, because you are doing amazing work. But here's the problem. You've allowed that to become your identity. You start to believe that if you're not juggling everything, you're somehow letting people down. That's where the problem really comes in. When you have embraced that as the norm and you start to think that if you're not the one juggling everything and working yourself to the grave, then you're letting people down. Many of us fail to set boundaries. You're in the organization, and while you may have some help, everybody turns to you and you don't know how to say no. No feels to you like you're letting the entire mission fall apart. You're letting the people down. You're letting the organization down. And I want you to recognize that sometimes you must say no. And honestly, sometimes this is a really rough one. It's really just easier for us to get it done because it takes less time than to have to explain it, teach it, and then trust someone else with it. You all know that mode. Just go ahead and add in the toxic culture that we've been sold. And it's no wonder so many leaders are burnt out. So many leaders are just disheartened. So many leaders are just dealing with the stresses of why can't I move? Why can't I grow? Why am I not thriving? But I want to tell you this, just because it's common does not mean that it's sustainable. I keep saying that. Simply because you're getting through right now or people are doing it and it's the expectation, it's not sustainable. And I want you to also think about what it's costing you, what is truly costing you to be in this space and to be operating like this. Think about all of the missed opportunities because you were too busy surviving from the day-to-day to focus on the funding, the partnerships, the growth, strategy, right? Because you were so busy with the day-to-day, putting out fires and constantly in that mode. Think about what it's costing you in terms of team trust. Your team doesn't feel empowered. They keep waiting on you for every single answer because you've created that culture. And eventually, you know what happens? The most capable of your team members leave because I promise you, people are going to go where they feel valued, feel that they can grow and thrive. And then worst of all, eventually your vision starts to fade. The thing that used to light you up the most, it started to collect dust while you are down here chasing around invoices and trying to fix broken links on websites. That's what happens. Because you are in the weeds and you cannot really nurture your vision. And the most important thing that happens, the worst thing that happens when that happens, is that you start to lose your joy. You lose your joy. The spark you once had It has been replaced by frustration and fatigue, because while you are grinding and you're doing the work, you're also recognizing that the organization is not thriving. You're only surviving. But I'm here to tell you, regardless of how horrible that sounds, you haven't failed. It's just time for you to think about a new way forward. Just a new way forward. What are some of the small shifts that you can make to create really, really big impacts in your organization, in your work? Small shifts. Not here to talk about, expensive or plans that are so detailed you can't even think through it, right? They turn you off just by looking at it. What does that look like? Well, it starts with small, intentional shifts that you have to make, not massive overhauls. I'm not talking about big, huge, massive overhauls. Micro moves, small moves that will create real momentum for you, real momentum for your team, real momentum for the work and for the organization. Here are a few things that you can do. Start with a real roll check. I want you in this upcoming week to write down everything that you do. Everything. Take a pen. I didn't say write down your job description. Write down everything you do. After you've done that, I want you to highlight only the things you should be doing. And I'm going to say to you, anything else that is not highlighted, it needs to shift. It needs to go to somebody else so you can actually lead. And in doing so, you might need to redefine what delegation really means, because some of us are stuck. We don't know how to delegate. And delegation is not just handing things off. Remember that. It's not just saying, okay, everything that's not highlighted, I'm going to pass it on to somebody else. That's not what delegation is. Delegation is intentional. It's about creating clarity. It's about building trust. And it's about building the sense of shared accountability for the work that needs to be done. Okay? So I want you to rethink how you delegate. I want you also to protect some time for strategic thinking, the big thinking. Even if it's just a few hours a week when you're not in a meeting or putting out fires, because that can change your entire momentum, your entire rhythm. Build it in. Time for you to think strategically. Put it on your calendar. And I also want you to build systems. Think about systems that can help you. A form, a checklist, a template. They're little things that take the decision-making load off your plate and move it to somebody else. Systems. What are the systems that you have in place, right? And most importantly, shift the culture. Stop building around you. Start building around the mission. Invite others to also lead and allow your people to grow in that space. Do not bear the brunt of the C-suite roles all by yourself. Invite others in to lead. Right? We got to slow down and get real. I want you to pause and I want you to really reflect. What are the things that you are doing right now that is draining you? What are the things that you're doing right now that is draining you? What is one thing this week that you could delegate or let go of? Think about it. I know there's a number of things you could get off that list when you're done highlighting. But remember, delegation is not just about handing things off. It's about being strategic, holding people accountable, right? And making sure that everybody understands what the outcomes should be. And what would your organization look like if you weren't the glue holding it together? Ooh, that's a big one. I want you to pause and reflect. Remember, we're reflecting this week. What would your organization look like if you weren't the glue holding it together? The answers to these questions really matter. And I want you to be very honest too. They deserve honest answers. Be very honest when you go to answer those questions for yourself, because your leadership should feel real purposeful. It should feel like something that you can build on, not something that is constantly building on top of you. There's a big difference. It should be something you can build on, not something that's just piling on top of you and causing you stress and causing you pain. You were never meant to do it all. Never. You were meant to lead. That is your role. So here are the truths for this week. You can lead with clarity. You can. You can build systems that will support and systems that will not suffocate you, right? You can. They don't have to be extravagant. They can be simple. And yes, you can bring in trusted outside help to support your mission at a fraction of the cost of a full-time hire. That kind of support can help make a world of difference in your day-to-day and in your long-term. Can make a world of difference. So if you're exploring ways to really reclaim your focus and reset how you lead, I want you to take that step. I want you to take that step this week. Be intentional about it. And whether it's just a thought partner, a strategic planning partner or guide, or just support, team-based training, it doesn't have to be a permanent thing to be powerful. It doesn't have to be. I want you to reach out to me, reach out to us at Unorthodox Leadership. We can help guide you through some of these things that will help make a world of difference for your organization. With that said, if this episode gave you something to think about, I want you to share it with another leader. Share it. And I want you to also subscribe for more real conversations. And if you're really feeling called to make that shift, I want you to start with one small move. I gave you a couple. I want you to start with one small move, right? Whatever that is, bringing somebody, reassess your time, reassess how you're using your time and the work you're doing, all right? So until next time, I want you to lead with grit. I want you to lead with grace and a little bit of unorthodox magic, man. A little bit. This is Dr. G signing out. Till next time. Ciao.